see if I have any questions. Okay, no questions. So, okay. So we're up to chapter 4, and the chapter 4 is about like health, right? Health part of a person's life, right? How like food, what to eat, how to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, all of these relations and all of the beautiful things. But before we go into this chapter, we have to see the introduction. Introduction, I think it is from translator. It's not from for sure. It's not from a Rambam, but it's very, very important to know that as we spoke a few times before in our classes, somebody asked a question. I don't remember what the question was, but we said that today we have to go by what current scientists know, right? Doctors. So if whatever they say it's not against the Torah, so there is no reason for us not to rely on it, right? So about medicine, this and that. So right. So if we can trust doctors, especially if he's a famous doctor. I mean, it's not about famous, but he's expert in his field. We can trust them, and a rabbi who would make a decision would need to make a decision about what to do, like from halakhic standpoint view. So he would consult the doctors, right? So introduction to chapter number 4. The opening lines of this chapter repeat concept found in the final halacha of the previous chapter, and continue this line of thoughts developed there. In the previous chapter, Rambam explained the importance, albeit as an intermediate, and not the ultimate goal of keeping regiment of diet and behavior that produce physical health. Okay. In this chapter, he provides the guidelines and ground rules for such a program. Okay, so let's quickly let's do chapter paragraph by paragraph. Okay, so again, the opening lines of this chapter repeats what we said. So last time we said that the person has to take care of his health, her health. Why? Because a person can be truly a servant of HaShem only when he's healthy, right? If a person is thinking always like when I should see the doctor, how come it's only a few weeks away? Like I need him to see him tomorrow. Like pills, have my pills, my insurance is going to cover, not going to cover. All of these crazy things. So it's like most likely this person would not be able to concentrate on the prayers, on the Torah learning and the mitzvot, right? So Rambam said that we have to take care of our health, right? Of course, it's not end goal, as he's repeated maybe 3 times, right? The end goal is the service of HaShem, and this is part of what needs to be done. You know, in order to be a good servant, you have to be healthy, right? Okay, so continue. At this point, as he pointed out, in Halachas 20 and 21, I think in this chapter, okay. This advice is intended for the healthy person who wants to maintain his physical well-being. A sick person must seek a program that is fitted more closely for his personal condition. Moreover, the guidelines suggested in this chapter are not absolute requirements. In chapters 11 and 12 of Hilchos De'os Ushmirat Hanefesh, Rambam mentions certain foods and actions which both in Talmudic times and Rambam times presented actual threats to the person's well-being. This the Rambam deems as forbidden. Here Rambam describes foods that are good and bad, implying that though Torah law would advise one to eat good foods, there is no binding obligation to do so. Igras Moshe, Hoshen Hamishpat 2, response 76, compares the matter to smoking. Though smoking can be harmful to one's health, There are so many smokers who remain unaffected despite the regular use of cigarettes. By the same token, the diet and regimen of health suggested by Rambam is advisable. However, disobeying it will not automatically cause a loss of physical health. Therefore, though the Rambam offers his guidance as integral part of his program for the personal growth, he does not make it absolute requirement. So we need to understand what it says here. So on one hand, the Mishnah Torah is halacha. Halacha meaning what you must do. On another hand, what we just said, we're going to go over this. That it is more like suggestion. So if because like the main part of this halacha is to be a servant of Hashem, or this collection of halachas. And in order to be good servant of Hashem, you have to be healthy. Right? But just because you're not going to follow all of these laws does not mean that the person is going to die, right, in a few months or so. So I remember in my office, it was a guy, so he would eat like all of the bad foods, all of the possible bad food and he would like all of the junk food, right? Unfortunately, not kosher, right? And he would stay skinny and fit, and was like in sports, like unbelievable, like and he's been doing it for a long time. You understand? And other people they go crazy for a day or two, so they gain 5 pounds. How's it possible? Like after a few days, 5 pounds, like after a week. Right. Okay. So let's do this piece again, and we're going to explain. Right. As he pointed out, right, his advice is intended for a healthy person. So whatever we're going to say, what Rambam is saying, is a person is more or less healthy. So he would say what to do, right, to maintain the physical well-being. And I think at the end, if I remember correctly, it was a long time ago when I learned it last time, but he said, and if you do that, so you don't have to worry, so you basically, you're going to be healthy until the very old age, right? Very interesting. A sick person must seek the program that's fitted more closely for the personal condition. So a sick person, he has to go to doctors, right? He cannot do these natural things, right? I mean, if it's some herbal things, yes, because it is a medicine. But in olden days, right, all of the, I mean, majority of the medicine was from herbs, right? Right. So all of the supplements, I'm not sure all of the, but many supplements, what you can buy over the counter, they're actually medicine, right? Okay, but Rambam said, if you're a sick person, go and find a doctor. Okay. Moreover, guidelines suggested in this chapter are not absolute requirements. So meaning, not absolute requirement, and plus he's going to explain some of them actually is forbidden to do because like our modern medicine said that it's like under today's circumstances, it's absolutely not good for a person. But how is it, right? Because people change, then physical structure of people change, food change, environment change, air change, water change, like many things change, right? Lifestyle of people change, right? People usually walk, right? Used to, not usually. People used to walk a lot, like most of the people, unless somebody is very rich, right? But people walk. Today, people hardly walk. Okay. I'm talking about majority. Okay. In different places, so Rambam mentioned certain foods and actions which both in Talmudic times and Rambam styles presented actual threats for the personal well-being, right? And and we're going to see these foods that are not good. I mean, yeah, you see this. I don't remember. I remember some of them. So yeah, for sure, too much salt or too much like aged old animal, right? Not good for sure. Okay. Well, being this and this, the Rambam deems as forbidden. Okay, so meaning if it's can harm us, so we should not. Is person going to die? No, most likely he's not going to die if he eats, but it is forbidden because we have to be healthy. Okay, here Rambam describes foods as good and bad, implying that though Torah laws would advise one to eat good foods, there is no binding obligation to do so. Why is it this statement no binding, like if it's not good for me, so I should not eat? Why there is no binding obligation? And our sages explain that I think Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, right? So just because somebody would eat this not good food, effect is not immediate. So sometimes to see the effect of this not good food, a year must pass, or tenths of the years, decades must pass, and until they see a result. But the result would be like sudden, and per person would be very very sick, right? But since there is no immediate result, so it's like grammar. So it's like a grammar, meaning it's not it's indirect. So and something that might bring to the bad results, or might not to bring us to bad results. So sages cannot forbid, because there is no guarantee, right? And Moshe Feinstein gives this what is it example of smoking. So do people die after one cigarette? No, people die after cigarette after he was smoking for many years, and that was his last cigarette, and he died. Right? Do all of the people get like a lung cancer when they smoke? No, not everybody. Might maybe have a problem with a cough and this and that, but cancer, absolutely not. Right? So that's why it's not advisable, but it's not strictly forbidden. Right. By the same token, the diet and regimen of health suggested by Rambam is advisable. However, disobeying will not automatically cause the loss of physical health. And just because we're not going to follow his advice, which is, I would say, very advisable. So, if you turn off your microphone, please. Right? Could you turn on your microphone, please? Okay, check 1 second. Sorry. Okay, no worries. 1 second. Okay. So I actually just so you know, guys, anybody can point press on the icon of a person and press mute. Not only I think everybody can. Okay. So if you see somebody, just hit the button. Okay. 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 So immediately, if the disobeying, it's not like he broke Allah. Therefore, though Rambam offers his guidance as an integral part of his program of the personal growth, so personal growth, meaning that it's going to be BeEzrat HaShem is going to contribute to our personal growth. To stay away from bad food, for example, with me. One example. Some foods, heavy food, makes people sleepy. Like I give you one example. Many people like cholent, or it's very heavy food. It's a red meat with potato, with beans that been cooking for 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours. It's so heavy. I mean, it's tasty. It's very tasty. Don't take me wrong. It's very tasty. But you eat it, it's like you dead person. Right, so me personally, I don't eat this stuff, right? Ever, right? Because why? Because I need to learn. So I mean, we eat whatever light food, whatever is it, like feeling, but still light. So I can learn without falling asleep. Otherwise, many people don't learn on like Shabbos afternoon. Why? Because of the foods. And so one of the examples, right? Or people drink. Is it good to drink? I don't think so. I mean, if you're going to sleep anyway, yeah, you can have a drink or something. But like in the middle of the day, like on Shabbos, like a Shabbos morning day. But how when are you going to learn the Torah? That's the thing. Okay. So continue. The rationale for this inclusion of the medical advice in the Mishnah Torah, as the book of the Torah law, exactly, can be explained on the basis of Rambam statement, Hilchos De'os, 1916. Right? What is the connection? We'll see. Where he explained that he included the means of predicting the location of the moon in that text, so that everything will be known to the men of understanding, and they will not lack any of the Torah paths. Hence, they will not need to go and search for it in other texts. It's unbelievable. Rather, they will be able to seek for the book of God and read. None of this shall be missing. Similarly, in regard to these points of medical advice, Rambam includes them in the Mishnah Torah, so that the person who desires to live healthy manner will be able to find guidance from the Torah source without having employed secular text. So Rambam as we know, he was a doctor, he was a scientist, right? He was a big philosopher, and he said, like, because some people at that time say, okay, I mean, about parasha, I understand, about the Torah laws, like I understand where to go, but about medical advice, there is nothing to do. So I'm going to Greeks, and guess what? You start studying Greeks material, right, on the medicine, and it's only a matter of time until you start learning other things from them. Chas v'shalom. Right? So Rambam said, no, I put everything in the Torah. You don't need their books at all. So it's very interesting. So let's quickly read it and see what else we can add. The rationale for this inclusion of medical advice in the Mishnah Torah, book of the Torah law, can be explained on the basis of Rambam said in Hilchos Kiddush HaKodesh. Kiddush HaKodesh is a blessing on a new moon. Right? So what is the connection between medical halacha and a blessing on a new moon? Right, right, 1916. But he explains that they included the means of the predicting the location of the moon in that text. So meaning Kiddush HaKodesh is we call it Kiddush Halavana, right? The blessing on the moon. Right, and now Siddur is at page 613. Hard to miss, right? But it's there. It's supposed to be only laws, like how to bless, when to bless, from what time until what time, only in the day. It's not only evening, this and that. What say, what not to say, and stuff like that. So, but the Rambam included there only how to look for a new moon. For example. In my shul, there is a guy. He's a very interesting fellow. So he has this thing. He would always go out before the Shabbos ends and start looking for a new moon, right? And if it's there, he would find it. And sometimes, of course, that depends on the season. Sometimes we say in this place. Sometimes it had in that place. Sometimes you had to go to the street. Cross the street. Sometimes you have to go across the street, but you have to move to the left because it's between the buildings. Sometimes you have to go further to the right. It's unbelievable. So he's such a good person. So he's such a good a tracker of the moon. It's unbelievable. So few times I went, I was a little late and I could not find. Spend some time, but then somebody told no, you have to stand between this tree and that tree, and of course not under the tree, but right between this and that, and you have to look a little to the left. And I looked a little to the left, and guess what? The moon was there. Right. So Rambam explained that in that portion. How, where in the sky you would be able to see the moon. Of course, it depends on the time, of the night and stuff like that. So that everything will be known to the men of understanding, and they will not lack any Torah, any of the Torah paths. So meaning these people who wants to it's not only technical things where as we just explained, right, how to say the blessing, but also where to look. So these people would not have to go to astronomy, to astronomists of the different nations and ask them to teach them, right? No, we don't need them. We have our own books. That's what Rambam read, all inclusive, right? Hence, we will not need to go and search for it in other texts. Rather, they will be able to seek from the book of God and read. None of this shall be missing. Meaning, Rambam said he's a one-stop shop, right? He has a halacha from all of the halachas. He has halachas what is applicable to us today and what is not applicable to us today. For example, whatever is connected with a temple service, right? Tumah and Tahara, Shulchan Aruch did not include, because Shulchan Aruch is only what relevant to us today, right? But Rambam include all of the vessels of the Beis Hamikdash, or how Kohanim would serve, all of the details, right? Procedure of Yom Kippur, right? So that's how he wrote this book, Mishnah Torah. Similar in regard to these points of the medical advice, Rambam included them in the Mishnah Torah so that the person who desires to live in a healthy manner will be able to find guidance from the Torah sources without employing the secular text. So, and secular text, guess what? It's only a matter of time until they include some of the idol worshiper, right? And there's halacha actually in Shulchan Aruch, so we cannot get treated by idol worshiper, right? Because the doctor, because guess what? He's going to say that my idol, my Yoshka, right, help you. Right, I give you the medicine, but sorry, Mr. Joe, probably it was wrong medicine. It was placebo. But I prayed to Yoshka, and he turned this placebo into good medicine. You understand? So Shulchan Aruch said we're not allowed to get treated unless it's a life danger. But otherwise, stay away from idol worshippers. Okay, the actual advice given by Rambam has provoked many debate among the commentaries and later authorities. There are three major areas of controversy. Right? A. So meaning first of all, the most famous, of course, if that not everything is applicable. I give you one example. I mean, I think it's the most famous example. So if you read Gemara, they would talk about bloodletting. Like today, nobody lets blood. I mean, of course, you can go donate blood, and it's in a sense a bloodletting, and your right, the blood is going to recreate itself and stuff like that. But not the blood. The body is going to recreate the blood, new blood, better blood. But still, I mean, today we don't do that. No one in the medical world for many years, like last past how many years, would suggest to do like a blood donation for a health reason. Okay. So again, three major areas of controversy. A. Are suggestions he gives based on the works of the sages, were they taken from other medical advices? Are the suggestions he gives based on the works of our sages, or were they taken from other medical sources available to him at that time? So that's a very good question, because as we know, Rambam did not put the sources where he got it from, right? So he said halacha is like this, and he explained, look, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, And I don't want to confuse people with too many footnotes and stuff like that. But later on in life, he will actually regret it, because people say it's his own opinion. If he would put a footnote with a source, okay, so we can go to the source and say, yeah, Rambam just copied from that source and he drew the right conclusion. It was Rabbi Yehuda against the sages, or Rabbi Yehuda against single sage, right? Or right, so that's why halacha is like this. But he did not include anything. Of course, later authorities, they spent, I don't know how much time they spent, and they put the sources of majority of his work, but not everything, right? So again, the first question: did he get it? Where the Rambam got the information from the sages, right? From the sages, and the sages, some of the sages got something from Greeks, right? Because Greeks were very advanced at that time, right? Or he got himself. He read medical books of that time, Rambam himself, and right. So first question, source of his information. Second question, controversy: should this advice be followed at present or not? I mean, as we said before, nature change, right? Body constitution change, like water change, food change, everything change, right? So is it still good for us? Continue. And the third controversy: is there a contradiction between the advice given in this chapter and halachic directives mentioned elsewhere in the Mishnah Torah? Okay. I'm going to give you one that I remember from the top of my head. Again, is there any contradiction between the advice in this chapter and halachic directives mentioned elsewhere in the Torah? So okay, so I give you. I mean, maybe it's not one-to-one example, but here I think in this chapter, Rambam would say that a person, if he wants to be healthy, he or she, they must sleep complete sleep, meaning 7 to 8 hours. Would he have 9? I don't know, but eight I would say average, right? To be healthy. And in another place, he said in the laws of learning Torah, I think that. So he said whoever is wasting any time during the night on sleep, he's going to regret, right? He's going to regret very much, because the wisdom of the Torah is actually at night, is acquired by a person at night. Right, and nights were created only for the purpose of learning Torah. So here he said 8 hours, and there he said don't sleep. Right. So okay. So which one should we follow? Of course, we're going to give an answer. Right. So if you want to be healthy, right, that's what you do. If you want to learn Torah, that's what you do. Okay. So we're going to address all of this contradiction one by one. Okay, so first contradiction. We need to see where is his source of this knowledge. Is it from the sages or from secular books of non-Jews? Okay, and it says, are the suggestions that Rambam gives based on the work of our sages, or whether taken from the other medical sources available to him at that time? Okay. The attempt to find the rabbinical sources for the material of this chapter is vulnerable one. Okay. Example of such attempts can be found in the commentaries of Migdal Oz and Avodat Hamelach and Aleph Hatrufa of Malbim. Okay. Without meaning to demean the scholarship integrity of these sources, the measure of their success is questionable. Right. So I mean, the greatest of the greatest, they try to find the sources where Rambam brought this information from, right? And he said it's questionable. Although the Rambam may address some the same points as the sages did, his approach is often radically different, if not opposite to theirs. Meaning, they use the same keywords. The sages say use the same words, but the outcome, the conclusion could be different, like exactly opposite, which is scary, right? Although the Rambam may address the same problem as the sages did, his approach is always radically different. Is not opposite, is if not opposed to theirs. Even when the approach is similar, the language of the Rambam often cannot clearly link to Talmudic source. So again, maybe as this translator said, maybe they not maybe for sure they were talking about the same subject, the same topics, but conclusion the Rambam made like totally different from the sages, right? Even when the approach is similar, right? Language of Rambam cannot be clearly linked. So many times when I read commentary, like not even commentary, for example, we started learning Hilchos De'os, right? Hilchos De'os we started. This rabbi, he started like he just spitting the verses. Like sometimes he would paraphrase it, but sometimes not. Right? So meaning that he would would take verses from the whole Tanakh and employ it in his essays. So it's very interesting. But so meaning it's clearly identifiable, right? But here Rambam takes the same thing that it says in Talmud, but change the wording. The case of Mishnah states that though the medical advice given by Talmudic sages may have been appropriate to the time and place, case of Mishnah, in different eras and lands, other approaches should be taken. Hence, the Rambam sought that followed other sources. Hence, Rambam sought and followed other sources. Okay, many other commentaries also suggest that Rambam, more often than not, relies on a general medical knowledge in this chapter. This approach would seem to be supported by the closely parallel passages in Rambam's medical writings, which often cite by non-Jewish medical authorities. Very interesting. In this context, it is worthy to note that Hilchos Kiddush HaKodesh 1724, a different one, Rambam explicitly states that he depends on the Greek sources for information he conveyed. Since, as it says there, since all of these concepts have been substantiated without question, it makes no difference who the author is, regardless of whether the concept was authored by a prophet or by a Gentile, since the rationale for this has been revealed and proven. We do not rely on the author, but rather on the proof have been revealed. Clearly, Rambam does not hesitate to use information derived by scientific means, even if it's not found in Talmudic source. Nevertheless, some commentaries have concluded that the placement of this statement in Hilchos Kiddush HaKodesh, which comes after Hilchos De'os, okay, so after this chapter, in the Mishnah Torah, and rather than here, implies that the sources for the halacha are Talmudic in nature. Okay, so let's try to read this because it's very interesting information, very interesting. So again, and we're going to explain. Case of Mishnah. Who is Case of Mishnah? Case of Mishnah is, if I remember correctly, it's Rav Yosef Karez, that's all. I think he's commentary on a tour, if I remember correctly. Right, so meaning, what does it mean? That he lived, maybe, when he live? Maybe like 400 years later, plus minus, right? 400 after Rambam, okay? So meaning the nature changed and things changed at that time, right? So again, the case of Mishnah states that although the medical advice given by a Talmudic sage may have been appropriate for their time and place, meaning in that region that's what they do. But for example, they would eat such food, and they say, if you have such and such thing, you have to eat this food. Okay, but in my region where I live, this food is scarce. Like you have to be a very, very rich man, and only in a season you can find this food, right? So which is makes sense. Maybe in that the different lands and in that specific lands and that specific time, right? In different eras and lands, other approaches should be taken. And as we said, that's actually what we follow. We follow current medical opinion, whatever was proven. Hence, Rambam sought and followed other sources, meaning that he did not rely on the sages only, right? But because sages who wrote Babylonian Talmud live in Babylon, right? Babylon, some of them live in Israel. They would come to Babylon, and you see many times people from Israel there. But okay, most of them lived in Babylon. Many other commentaries also suggest that Rambam, more often than not, relies on general medical knowledge in this chapter. So meaning, what we're trying to establish is source. So many times he's saying that it's not from the sages, but the general medical knowledge in the world. That's what works, right? And what works, as we're going to see, Rambam said, okay, who cares? Like if it was proven, doesn't matter who said it. This approach would seem to support the closely parallel passage Rambam medical writings, which is often cited by non-Jewish medical authorities. Okay, I'm not sure what exactly this writing, but doesn't matter, right? So he's writing, so so he would take the information from everywhere. In this context, it is worth it to know that Hilchos Kiddush HaKodesh, Rambam explicitly states that he depends Greek sources for information he conveyed. So Rambam is saying it does not matter, if the information can be proven, right? If it can be proven, for example, if somebody has a headache and you gave him Tylenol or whatever you gave him, and it worked. So it doesn't matter who invented this Tylenol. The bottom line, that it works, and that's his approach, and that's a logical thing. So if sages say many years ago, does it apply today? Maybe yes, maybe no, right? But we know that Tylenol works. Does not, maybe for some people, but some other medicine that is accepted is a fact that it affects a person. Okay, so and he said there, since all of the concepts have been substantiated without question, meaning in this case where to look for a new moon. So it depends on the season, of course, right? And day of the month, and the time of overnight, right? It makes no difference who the author is. So he said, look, if it's provable, if he can confirm, who cares who the author is? Regardless of whether concept was authored by a prophet or Gentile, right? Since again, so it is provable. That's his point. Since the rationale is that has been revealed and proven, and we do not rely on the author, but rather on the proofs that has been revealed. So author gave us idea, we went went ahead and proved it, no problem. Clearly, the Rambam does not hesitate to use information derived from scientific means, even if it's not found in the Talmud sources. I mean, the sages, some of them were doctors, but not if they did not research some areas, and it is the information available from non-Jews, and technically it does not affect halacha, so why should not we use it, right? Nevertheless, some commentaries have concluded that the placement of this statement in Hilchos Kiddush HaKodesh, which comes far after Hilchos De'os in the Mishnah Torah, but rather than here, implies that the source of halacha is Talmudic in nature. So our sages, or great sages, learn that Rambam was very precise, very, very precise. Right, and if he would think that if he would want to indicate, so he was not scared to indicate that this information about a new moon he got from the Greeks. I mean, for us, maybe we should, like, I don't know, we found it in Google on some Christian website. Yeah, we should not say it, right? But Rambam, right? So he did not hesitate. He said these things are proven, but he said it where, like, further down. So this book is the first book. The way I understand, yes, like it's a first book of how many books altogether? Don't remember, maybe 18. I don't remember exactly. Right, books of Mishnah Torah, a lot maybe. So, and this Kiddush HaKodesh is far away after Hilchos De'os, and only there he said that it's actually this thing that he rely on the Gentiles. Meaning, so our sages say, so meaning in this case, in this case of the health halacha, so he actually rely on our sages. I mean, of course, I mean there is no proof to one way or another, but that's explanation. Okay, so let's see. So we're going to now we're going to the second controversy. And second controversy: should this advice be followed on present now? That's the main the main point, right? Where he got his information, I mean, I'm not going to check, but right, but should we do it or not? Okay, so that's the big one. Let me just quickly check what time is it. Second. Okay, so let's do it this. This piece. Okay, so and it says. Should this point of advice be followed in the present or not? Okay. The authors of this text are not doctors, and for this reason we have no way evaluating the medical value of the advice given. Neither is there unanimity, right, of the opinions in this matter among the medical authorities. Many contemporary doctors see this advice as sophisticated for the Middle Ages, but irrelevant in light of the contemporary medical knowledge. In contrast, many neuropaths, right, and practitioners of holistic medicine see Rambam's advice as medically sound. Okay. So the question again, should we follow or not? So let's see, the authorities, so the authors of this text, they're not doctors. We're not going to tell you what to do, but right, there is no, sages did not say, should we follow or not, right? Not even sages, the medical authorities. Many contemporary doctors see the advice as sophisticated Middle Ages, but irrelevant in the light of contemporary medical knowledge. Okay, so I mean, again, here Rambam is saying, as we said in the beginning, so how to stay for how a person, what should person do to stay healthy? So it's not like medical knowledge, to get cured from something. No, it's actually how to maintain the health. Okay. In a contrast, many neuropaths, naturopaths, right? The one they do all of the supplements, and practitioner of holistic medicine see Rambam advice and medically sound, right? Because they more to the nature, not to get involved, not to get these crazy pills that can knock you down, right? So you have side effects. Okay, so they say whatever Rambam said, it makes sense. Okay, it appears that Rambam also followed the holistic approach to the medicine. Okay. So holistic is more like inclusive. Like when doctors say, so they have of course I oversimplify, but that's the way I see it. So they see only a disease or problem only in a context of of the symptoms. So how to take out the symptoms. right? But this holistic approach, like the whole body, they take the whole body into account, like why it started to begin with. But when you do that, of course, you take all the medicine, all the naturopaths, right? It's like it would take you very long time, right? Even for them to figure out what were exactly wrong with it. This doctor would give you like a strong pill. Of course, for example, it did not work. He said, "Okay, I'm going to change to another pill," right? But you see the results very fast. Is it good for your body? I don't think so. It kills the body basically. It throws the balance. But this holistic approach is more like will take longer time, but is more like it's. I think it's better for the whole health system of the person. Okay. So again, it appears that Rambam also followed the holistic approach in medicine. He believed that the body cannot be separated from into the discrete systems. Exactly. So I did not read. Okay. The discrete systems, each is its own function, but that's what it is in modern medicine. That's what it is. You have a heart doctor, you have an eye doctor, and you have a food doctor. So this food doctor, he's the most likely. I mean, maybe they're going to send you to another doctor, but most likely he would take care of the food, like to take care of the symptoms, not the disease. Right? The disease could come from from the head, from the spine. I don't know, right? Not only from foods, from feet. Okay. Rather, all the systems in rather all the systems interact and must be treated as a part of organic whole. The very structure of this chapter reflects this perspective. Material on diet is interrupted by the comments on elimination. Right? Elimination, and we're going to see the diet and elimination is very important. Prescription of the bathing contain descriptions relevant to intercourse. Thus, we are taught to view the health as a product of integrated program or behavior affected by the body in the totality. So, and many people take it out of context and they say, okay, avocado is good. Okay, so the person start eating avocado 7 times a day. Okay, is he going to be healthy? No, most likely he's going to get some side effects or something because he neglected to eat other foods, right? So they take out of context. The coffee is bad. Oh, coffee is bad. Oh, coffee is bad. So stop drinking coffee. No, coffee is not bad. Like in combination with other things, like how often, how much you coffee drink. So if you drink 7 cups a day or 3 like a very strong espresso or something, yeah, it's very bad, right? For the heart, but otherwise, if you eat if you drink normal coffee once in the morning, there is no problem whatsoever. It's actually good for you. So, but people want immediate gratification. That's what people want today, right? So they want to take a pill. Okay, I had a headache. Okay, I take a pill. 1, 2, 3, 19, 20, 21. Okay, no headache. That's what they want. And same with Torah learning, like people want like very fast. It's not working this way. Okay. So in this context, it's must emphasize that the concept of medical advice of health is a goal set by Rambam in this chapter is often ignored by contemporary medicine, which is put a far greater emphasis on a treatment of a disease, as we explained. I mean, okay, where are we going to add? The possibility that Rambam's directive for health are no longer applicable has also been considered by the rabbis. Though we find his statements quoted almost verbatim in many sources, including text of the late date as Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, chapter 32, we covered it, right? Kitzur Shulchan Aruch was in 1700s. many years after, 1,000 years after Rambam or something. Right? Much later. Right? So including text of late. Other rabbis explain that the makeup of the bodies has changed, right, and has some of the principle no longer apply. See Rama, Even Chaezer. Okay. So let's review this piece. It's very interesting, and we're going to stop. So again, it appears that Rambam also followed the holistic approach in medicine. We said that he believed that the body cannot be separated the discrete systems, right, and with its own function. As we said, that's what contemporary medicine does, right? Exactly, everything is separate, so they do not care, right, about others. Okay, rather its whole system interact and must be treated as a part of an organic whole. But again, it takes very long time, to affect one organ, so it would as a side effect would affect another organ. Okay, the very structure of this chapter reflects this perspective. So meaning that all of our life is interconnected. So just because, for example, person say I'm very tired, and clown will say, yeah, maybe you need to sleep more. Okay, it depends what person eats. As we said, if he eats not healthy food, he would be tired. If he's not doing exercise, right? He's going to be tired. If he working on computer too much, a person would be tired, or they have some anxiety, person would be tired. So this not smart solution, I advise that, okay, you're tired, maybe you need to sleep longer. No, it's not true. So you have to see the whole situation. Maybe it's true. if a person does not sleep enough, is of course, I'm not talking about that situation. Of course, he should sleep, and right, and hopefully he would feel better. But many times you must see the whole picture, right? And that's what Rambam does. Okay, so okay. Material on a diet interrupted by comments of elimination. Yeah, you need to eat, but you have to also eliminate all of the waste from your body, right? So if you see that this food is good, but then you you cannot go to the bathroom, so this good food is not good for you. Is it healthy? Yes. Good for you? Absolutely not. Right. So this balance. Prescription on a bathing contains directive relevant to intercourse, right? Can you have an intercourse right after the bathing? They said not. You can die if you do that. Right? You have too much stress if a person was under hot shower, this and that, so he can explode, right? So all of these things, but one is connected to another. Thus we are taught to view the health as a product of an integrated program on behavior affecting body in totality. So meaning all of the aspects of the body, of our lives, in totality. So that's, me personally, I love Rambam's approach, and I'm trying to follow as much as possible. Whatever he said. So if we follow we're going to discuss each halacha separately, but we have to understand that if we follow Rambam and he's from Shemaim, he's going to bless us with that these things that should not have worked actually would work. But as we're going to see, there is no like extremes. I'm not sure why there is no extremes. Whatever he explains, it's very straightforward. Even when we're going to get like if you have a dinner and have many dishes, so which dish to eat first and which last? It's very logical. Okay, so continue. In this context, it must be emphasized that the concept of medical advice for health is the goal set by Rambam in this chapter, is often ignored by contemporary medicine which has put a far greater emphasis on treatment on a disease, right? So they do not care about everything. My understanding is it's about money, because they're not making money if you're taking care of yourself, and you don't need to go to them, right? But if you go to them with a pain, with this ache, that ache, oh yeah, that's how they make money. And this drug medicine, yeah. Right, the drug industry, medicine industry is blooming. The possibility that Rambam directives for health are no longer applicable has also been considered by the rabbis. Okay, so maybe, okay. Though we find that the statement quoted almost verbatim by many sources, verbatim meaning word to word, without changes, right? Including the text of Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Other rabbis explain that makeup of the body changed, right? As we said, I mean, and it's not, and it makes sense. And some of this principle may no longer apply. Okay, Sirima, Even Chazer 156.4, Makit Avraham 173.1, Shel Shlomo, Chulin chapter 8, Shulchan Aruch Harav, where this concept is explained in a number of different contexts. So I think we can stop here. And the third point we're going to see next time, BeEzrat HaShem, and start learning, like go deep inside. So I think it was very valuable this all of this comparison, right? I mean all of this explanation of controversies. Okay, so let's see if we have any questions. Yes, we have questions.